everyone. I'm a bit late today, but in all honesty, I don't think I was really planning on streaming today. Today was supposed to be a day that I'm supposed to actually go out into the real world for the first time in who knows how long. So at this time I'm actually supposed to be sleeping, getting my last 2 or so hours of sleep. But thanks to good planning, and by good planning, I mean actually going online and checking to make sure that they're open today, I've realized that no, they will not be open. So I can just go live stream, do whatever I want, and relax a bit before sleeping later today. So, in any case, welcome back to Sunny Nights. I'm Hannah, or whatever you'd prefer to call me. Hannah, Sunny, still up to you. And today I'm going to tell you the story of how I almost ended up going into a potentially dangerous situation because I refused to plan ahead. So, for today, what was I going to do? Today, I had a few things I need to go pick up, and by like they refused to deliver it. So I actually had to go in person. But I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I'm currently based in Canada. And the situation right now, especially where I am, is not the most pleasant, which is quite rare, actually. Like, it's rare when Canada has these big, like, protests, or at least where I live. But in any case, there's a bit of a situation, and it's a bit of a safety hazard for me to be going into the downtown core right now. So the thing that I need to go get, they've actually closed the establishment and said that it's really advised that we don't go, which is fine by me. I tell you, like, I've been really delaying this since Thursday. I was supposed to go Thursday, and I kind of slept in. And then Friday, I made an excuse. Saturday, I made an excuse. Sunday, I kind of figured that they'd be closed. So I decided that I had to go on Monday because it's either Monday, which is today, or tomorrow. And tomorrow would be the absolutely last day. So I was just gonna go today and be done and over with it. But then they said, yeah, so we're closed. That's too bad. Yeah, but again, that's fine by me. I woke up at midnight. I was supposed to sleep through the night and then, like, around this time, maybe get my last hour or two of sleep before getting up around 8 o'clock and leaving out, or maybe 7 o'clock to leave out. But it's currently 6 a.m. and I've been awake since midnight, so that wasn't going to work out anyways. So that's fine by me. Yeah, but the downside to that is that I really wasn't planning on live streaming today. I was planning on maybe doing it tomorrow, like around this time tomorrow, because because I was supposed to be heading out early today, so I could have time to get back for classes in the afternoon. But yeah, that didn't work out. So my question is, what will I be talking about today? It's been 3 minutes and I still have no clue about that. It's like I just literally checked online. Thank goodness for the internet. I checked online. They were like, "Oh yeah, so we're closed on Monday the 31st." I was like, "Okay, okay, that's great." But wait, if that means I'm gonna have to head out tomorrow. That means I can't live stream tomorrow, so I might as well just start a live stream now. Which, for consistency, is actually the best idea. I have like zero consistency. I was supposed to do this on like Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings. I don't know how I ended up pushing it back to Monday mornings. And even then I was already planning to push it back to Tuesday morning, even though it was like what, the fourth session. Ah, gosh, my consistency is really a major issue. It's like I like having things routined, but like actually keeping that routine is a bit of a struggle. Anyways, in the last session, I mentioned that I was gonna check up on karaoke and see like where the legality around that stands, like if it'll be breaking any copyrights or if I have to get copyright separately. Well, I checked online and it's all like mixed messages, but the basic consensus is that it would probably be some sort of copyright issue. Like I'd have to just get some sort of permission to be able to do even karaoke, which I didn't realize because I've seen so many covers, like people doing covers online, and then there are complete apps dedicated to um, singing karaoke songs and recording them. But I guess those apps have separate permissions for all users to use, which is fine by me. But yeah, it was basically advised against that unless I got specific permission. And I have, you probably guessed by now, I have like no order when it comes to this thing. So I really don't know which songs I would have sung. I'd have probably just sung a song and said, oh, this next song sounds interesting. And I've sung that too. So getting, what do you call it? Getting permission ahead of time would have been a bit of a struggle. Yeah. So what do I do for the next hour and a half? Well, I just left today's title similar to the last one, which is just chill conversation and stories. Like I can kind of tell you what's been happening around my area for the past week. What's gonna be happening what's gonna be happening for the next week. What's gonna be coming up soon. What's like in the process of finishing. Just idle chat about anything. I can let you know how I wasted another week. I'm doing not really anything productive. And I'm not sure if you can hear, but my house is a bit noisy right now. Based on um based on the tones and like the setup I have in front of my screen right now, you probably aren't hearing anything except my talking, but still, just in case, I'm gonna let you know that that's not your headphones or anything. That's probably just my place being very noisy. Hmm. Okay, so what happened in the past week? So if you remember from the last week, the week before, I wasted an entire week because I was binging two series. One that was 52 episodes, and then a typical one that was 16 episodes. And I was sure that I was done with that. I wasn't going to do that again anytime soon. But interestingly, for the past week, I did the same thing. So over the past week, I watched a 54 or 56 episode drama called Five Enough. And from what I remember, Five Enough and Father is Strange, which is the other 52 episode drama that I watched last week, those are the two really long dramas. Those are two of the three long dramas that I've watched, enjoyed, and willing to watch again. But the one I watched this past week, which is called Five Enough, it's about a divorced single mom. Does that work? Is that a good term? Like a divorced mom of three kids, whose kids don't know that she's divorced to to their father. She meets a widower with two kids, and slowly but surely, the two of them fall for each other, and of course, everyone's against them. Usually on the widower's side, because his parents are against her because she's divorced and she has three kids. His parents-in-law, like his mother and father-in-law of his deceased, like the parents of his deceased wife, are also against him because they're just against him getting remarried or interested in anyone else, even though they claim that he's their son, and like they want the best for him, but like love, romance, remarriage, none of that. Yeah. But I remember watching it in the past, and I don't think I ever finished it. That's another thing about me. It's like I really love shows and I really enjoy shows, but I have like this fear of completion. But but yeah, so I have this really bad fear of completion, so I doubt I ever finished that show. Like I don't recall the ending whatsoever. And I rewatched it and it was worth the couple days it really took for me to watch that show. Yeah. It's like you might hear like little notifications from my computer every now and then. I really don't know. Like I just keep getting a lot of notifications right now. It's fine. It should be fine. It shouldn't be too much. I shouldn't be expecting too much at this time of day. But in case like you hear little disturbances, I'll see if I can mute the sound from my computer separately from my mic. Yeah, like that. I'm gonna see if I can do that. Yep, that should work. Mm. So I did really enjoy that show that I watched, but then I watched it took basically the entire week. And then aside from that, I finally had assignments that were due, so that kind of forced me to like sit down and actually do them, which was great. Kind of got me back on track because I was really straying off path. Uh, like I really don't know how I managed to finish these courses. Like I don't know how I managed to finish school because it's like me sitting down watching a show, relaxing the entire time. I'm hearing like my peers and colleagues all stressing about how they have like a million assignments, and I'm like, where are you guys getting a million assignments from? I like sit down and watch shows, read books, stuff like that every day, and then like a few days before an assignment's due, like my phone notifies me and says, "Hey, so this is work grades." I'm like, "Oh right," and then I do it somehow, and somehow get really good marks or decent marks, depending on like how much effort in the class in particular. But I don't know how. I don't know how it works. I literally could not handle if my program was one of those programs that had like constant assignments. I really could not do it. My current program, I think my teachers in general prefer having like really big assignments, like research papers that take the entire term, or like midterms, final exams, were like half or marks, half or grades. I think that's the kind of assignments my program's professors prefer. My gosh, my program's professors prefer. That's a lot of PRs. But I've heard with friends with different programs and stuff like that. They say, "Oh, I have two assignments due today, and then I have three more due tomorrow, and then I have this and that." And that literally only happens like two times per term for me. It happens like right in the middle, like about right in the middle of the term, which is around like the end of February, and right around now. So like right now, around the beginning of February, I have like a bunch of assignments that are kind of due, but like I didn't really have any of that during January. It was just showing up to class, understanding the material, and then the assignments are like around this time, they're all kind of piled together. Aside from that, like maybe in the middle of the semester, again, there's a similar case. It's like you relax for a few weeks, and then in the middle of the semester, right before or after a little break, they all give us another assignment to make sure we're on track. And then after that, it's really nothing until final exams, which I really appreciate because, as I've mentioned for like the couple past episodes, I am a major procrastinator. And the fact that I'm able to kind of procrastinate and still get things done is a big relief for me. It's like it's not continuously working all the time, finishing this assignment, that assignment, this assignment, this assignment. If I can like relax for a while and then I kind of grind and work hard during specific intervals and then get a time of break after that, that works out a lot better for me than continuously working with nonstop. But when in hindsight though, I think I used to get continuous assignments while I was in high school, and I really don't understand how I did that. How did I do that? Hmm. Oh, okay. I had my know how. In high school, from what I remember, for the majority of things, I would kind of just avoid eating lunch with friends. Like, like sometimes if I have nothing to do, I'd eat with them, but other times I'd kind of go to the library like after my class is finished and they give like a break for lunch. I'd go to the library, any homework assignments or anything like that I finish it then, and then once I finish those assignments I spend the rest of my lunch break with my friends. But basically I get all my work done, and then I'd go home and like collapse and watch K dramas all day. I tell you, my parents have told me that they don't understand how I get the grades I do when I've never seemed to ever study around them. Which is true. I don't study at home. Study like at home is my relaxing. Like home is kind of my safe space to just relax, listen to music, watch shows, read books. Like I don't understand why I have to work very hard at home. So for the majority of time, I just finish my work at school. Um, and even then, like my friends don't really see me doing that. They just see me disappearing and then showing up for the last half an hour or so of lunch. So like I don't think anyone actually sees me except for the people that are like in the library themselves, but they're not really paying attention to anyone else. They're just doing their own work. But yeah, I don't think anyone ever actually sees me working hard. The closest to that I came was first year in university. And that wasn't really like me going to work hard. That was me wanting to be by myself in my room. But because I lived on campus at that time, my friends always knew that I was within walking distance. So if they wanted to study in the library or anything, they'd say, "Hey, come and study with me. Come, 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 come." And then I'd just go and I'd sit down and I'd do a bit of work. And like if they needed help, I'd help them out and stuff like that. And like most times, I'd be sitting down there with them, like kind of just listening to music and procrastinating at the same time. Because like do their work and they'll like studying together in a group and stuff like that. Whereas that kind of distracts me, so like during that distracted time, I might listen to more music or I might search for random things online. But then once they're gone home and stuff like that, you'll see me back in the library at like 2 a.m. actually doing my work and assignments. I tell you, like my sleep schedule was at its peak awfulness during my first year of university because I made this absolutely ridiculous routine of going to class is because my I scheduled for my classes to be in the mornings mostly. So I'd go to class early in the morning and I have like a bunch of classes from morning to like afternoon. And then like my friends would kind of just drag me out to eat like lunch together or eat dinner together. And I'd do that. And then after they're gone or after they go to do their stuff, I'd go back to my room and sleep. And then in the middle of the night, like around midnight or like 1 a.m., I'd wake up and go somewhere else. I'd like go to the library or I'd go to like whatever building on campus was open. And usually it's like full of students like me that purposely wake up at that time of night just to study and finish assignments. But yeah, basically I'd study from like midnight straight until morning. And then I'd go back home, like take a shower, get cleaned up, get ready, and then go to my morning classes. And then from then the entire thing repeats and then I'd sleep in the afternoon or so, afternoon, evening, until again midnight. Like it was awful, but it was routine. So like I didn't feel that I was exhausted too much. Except for one day. Like I remember one night in specific, it wasn't even that late. It was kind of like I went for dinner at a reasonable dinner time and I met one of my floor mates, one of the people that lived near me, and she was also there for dinner, but like me, she had her backpack and she was going to study afterwards. So we ate together and then we studied together, and I just remember like studying hard and I was doing well and I was on a roll, and then I just felt this weight of exhaustion just wash all over me all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. I just felt so exhausted. And I thought about how I'd have to finish this assignment and then I have to go to bed for like a few hours because luckily I was finishing early that day so I could sleep for a few hours. But then I would have to wake up again in the morning. I'd have to go, and then I have to interact with like so many peoples. And like just the thought of that was so exhausting. So actually, what I did that time, like I didn't plan it or anything. It's like I finished that work and I went home with that person because we're going the same way. So we finished around the same time, we went home the same time. I went to my classes as usual, but I kind of just let my friends know, hey, like I need a few days. I'm like just exhausted and I want to sleep. Like I didn't even eat that much. I didn't go out like for regular meals for a few days. I just like kind of just stayed home and slept because that was something I needed. Like university really exhausted my social battery, especially in the beginning. But in all honesty, I'm very happy it exhausted my social batteries in the beginning because if it didn't do that then, I would know like no one in my university. Because this wonderful out of nowhere pandemic came, and I literally know none of my teachers by face, none of my classmates by face anymore. So kind of those memories of like exhaustion of like meeting up with friends like at least 6 times a week, like that memory was kind of it's kind of good to say I did kind of experience the typical uni life or whatever. But yeah, that's enough memories. I'm good as like I'm enjoying staying home. I'm really enjoying this habit of staying home and relaxing, like being able to sit down, like lie down on my couch and watch a TV show up until the like 2 minutes before classes starts, and then I'll just go and take a seat in front of the computer. I really enjoy that. Though at the same time, I really don't feel like the learning experience is nearly as well as in my first year. Because like the first year kind of like forced me out of my comfort zone a bit, which for a new experience is usually a good thing. It kind of like forced me out of my comfort zone, taught me how to be like how to approach teachers if I needed to, how to approach students, how to talk to TAs, like stuff like that. Um, and basically just walking around campus you can see like a variety of different people. You can see like a bunch of different clubs. Like I didn't officially join a school club in my first year of university because when I looked through the long list of clubs they had, it's kind of like not particularly interesting to me. Like in high school, there were a bunch of clubs, and like the clubs you join kind of go on your resume, kind like in your portfolio to say, you were in this club, you're in this position, and it kind of helps build up your application to university. But in university, I kind of just wanted, like, in addition to like working hard in academics, I had my academic goals separate. But when it came to like clubs and leisure activities like that, I wanted it to be around something that really interested me. But when I went through the long list of clubs, I didn't see anything like that. But as I mentioned in first year, I lived on campus. So just walking through campus every day, I noticed a few clubs that quite interest me that weren't really advertised as official school clubs. And I ended up joining one of those clubs. And it was a truckload of fun until the pandemic. And even when the pandemic came, like all throughout the summer, I was like, okay, um, let's prepare ourselves because like this thing can end any second now. This can end any second now. Maybe next year I'll go back and maybe there will be a few different people. Maybe some people would have graduated, some people would have joined, but like I knew at least one person who would have been going back with me and I kept in touch with that person. But at this point now, it's been like over 2 years, and I don't see myself really like hopping straight back into that club. In fact, I'm not sure if they'll actually start up again. If this pandemic will subside enough for them to start up again before I graduate, which is quite sad. And the one person that I kind of kept close to me saying that we'd go back at the same time, that I don't see that happening anymore because they're graduating pretty soon. So yeah, that's just my unfortunate talk of the day. But yeah, I got that experience at least. At least I can say I went to that school, I got that experience. That was fun or that was exhausting, but I can have like my own opinion on the matter. I really do feel bad for the kids these days who are going to different schools, like maybe going to high school for the first time, going to college or university for the same time for the first time, and not knowing any of their classmates, not knowing any of their professors, not having that in-person teaching experience, not being able to like get the most of their club because maybe their club, not their club, from the most of their program because maybe their program was more hands-on, but because of like social distancing and everything, you can't really get the full experience out of it. And like, how will that actually affect them later on when they like start working? Like, will that degree equate to degrees before that? I really don't know. It's such a tough time to such a tough time to be living in. And hi, by the way. Hi, nice to meet you. Uh, but what is there? I really wonder, like, a few years from now, what will this time be? Will it be kind of like one of those things from the generation? Like, we see it as this really big deal now, but like in the past, they had, like, past generations all had their big, um, like things that really marked their generation. Like the generation before us, especially relevant to North America, would be the 9/11 situation. Whereas they said like the newer generation, which would be Gen Z, don't really remember 9/11, which makes sense because like we were like what, 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 years old. But like, I think what's really going to be remembered about the Gen Z generation is going to be online, like online, partially because of this pandemic, but like we were already going towards towards that trend, and it really sped up because of the pandemic. Um, Gosh, but yeah, like a lot of things. I'm just like I've been doing a lot of thinking recently about like how things are actually going to be looked at afterwards. Like while it's happening right now, it's this huge deal, but like how are people in the future going to look at this event? How are they going to see it? How are they going to interpret it? Like what are the results from it? In fact, if I could do a lot less thinking about stuff like this and just focus on my schoolwork, that would be ideal. But like me doing these big philosophical, like thought provoking subjects, like this is all just a form of procrastination. It's me thinking about stuff that really doesn't have to be thought about right now. It can be thought about during the weekend or after I finish an assignment, but no, 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 no. Assignments can wait. I'm thinking about something that's very huge for my generation right now. Oh my gosh. I mean, even from a less broad perspective, like from a less broad perspective, just thinking about me, like I have a very bad habit of romanticizing the past. Like I look like in this situation it's awful and I hate it, but then I look back and I was like, oh, there was this time and this happened. Ha 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 ha. Oh, that was a fun time. No, it was not a fun time. When I was experiencing it, it was pretty bad. I hated it. But looking back is like, oh, that was funny. Ha ha ha. I'm really curious about how I will look back about these last few years during the pandemic. How will I look back at this time? I wonder if I could try that right now. Like, I'll give an example of what I used to do in the past and how I came to romanticize it. It's like, personally, I move a lot. Like, I move cities a lot. I've moved countries before. Um, I moved schools a lot, a lot, a lot. Like to this moment, I've never started at a school and finished, as in graduated from that school. No, I'm not a bad student. I don't go around fighting, picking fights with anyone, but that's just how it is. My family moves a lot, and when I move, I end up moving schools as well. So like experiencing that, I really, really hate it. Like I hate like going to school and getting used to the entire situation. All of a sudden, my parents are like, "Oh, so by the way, we're moving, so you kind of have to choose which classes you want again because we're going to a different school." Like I hate that situation. But now like I can talk about it and laugh about like the different schools I went to, and I can count on like both hands like the different schools I went to. In fact, let me try that right now. So like I went to kindergarten, but I didn't finish that and I graduated, not really graduated. I kind of just left early for other reasons. I can actually explain that into greater detail maybe another time. But yeah, so I didn't finish kindergarten at the same place. I moved to grade school. When I moved to grade school, I didn't finish there. I moved to another grade school. Then I went to high school, but I didn't finish that high school. I moved countries and I went to another elementary school because I was younger than the kids that were supposed to be in high school. So they said I had to finish at least 1 year at the elementary school, but in any case. So that's 5, right? And then from there, I went to another high school. Yeah, so I graduated from that elementary school and I went to a high school. Then I moved from that high school to another high school. Then I graduated from that high school and now I'm in university. And fingers crossed, I started with this university. I'm going to graduate with this university. But this is currently my 8th school. 8, my gosh. Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm not even that old. Like, why have I gone to 8 schools in my lifetime? Most people don't go to 8 schools in their lifetime. What am I doing? But yeah, I can look back and laugh about that, but like, it was quite annoying. Like, I mean, it doesn't seem that way because I'm having a live stream right now, but I'm quite introverted. And in the past, I was also very, very shy. So, talking to people is hard, meeting new people, opening up, making friends, all of that is hard. What usually happens is an extrovert has to adopt me. Like someone really extroverted and outgoing has to come up to me and say, "Hey, my name is this. How are you? You want to be friends?" Something of that sort. Or they just come and start talking to me regularly, and that's how we become friends. But I can't go out and approach people and say, "Hi, my name is Hannah." I can't do that. So making friends, unless someone chooses to really adopt me into their friendship, it can be really hard. So like that was kind of a bit of an annoyance in the past. Like I would finally make friends and we're finally close, and then I'd have to move schools. But like now I talk about it and I laugh. Ha! I went to 8 schools. Ha ha ha. Um, but regarding this current pandemic, like is quite bad for our mental health. Like I mentioned in the first year of my university before the pandemic, like that time as well, an extrovert really adopted me. A really, really extroverted person at that time really adopted me and like brought me out, like brought me everywhere around the city because they used to live here from before, and they introduced me to a bunch of their friends. Like every time they made friends and they invited those people out, they'd invite me as well. So I could get to know those people and I could get to know different places and we could do stuff together. Invited me to try different food and try like just about everything. Um, and it was really hard because I'm not very social. I prefer like on weekends to kind of just sleep in, but at 9 a.m. I'd get a call and say, "Hey, you're getting ready, right? We're going out." So I was like, "No, I'd really rather sleep." It's like, "No, no, what you talking about? Wake up, wake up." Um, but that was good in itself. But for this pandemic, mentally and socially, I don't do any of that anymore. So like at the beginning, not so much right now, because right now like I kind of do whatever I want. But at the beginning, I was like in a small room with my parents and everything, and it was kind of really, I love that. It was really restricting, and basically I was just lifeless. Like I would sleep all day. I'd sleep all day, come out at night, and maybe have like one meal, and then I just go back and lie down for the majority of it. And then eventually I kind of came out of that, and it reached the point where I'd go to classes, but then other than that, I'd be sleeping, maybe eating a few meals. Then it got to the point where I'd be at home watching TV, going to classes, dancing, singing, but like just coming to really enjoy my time alone. But like the process to really reach to that point was not pretty. But even my memory of that point before, like at the very beginning of the pandemic, when I would literally be asleep 90% of the day, even that point is starting to become like kind of hazy. Like my mom has to be reminding me constantly, like, no, the pandemic was not the best to you. You went through a bit of a hard time at the beginning too. She has to remind me of that because I've already started to forget about that and only remembered the last part, which is about now where I am, where I'll be lying down on the couch watching dramas all week, listening to music, dancing, doing karaoke, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm already romanticizing that. Like romanticizing the fact that even though I love the winter, I love the snow, I love everything about winter, the fact that I don't have to go out, I can look at it and say, "Oh, that's pretty," but I don't have to go out cuz the government and everyone is basically saying, "Stay inside." Like even in my mind right now, I'm already saying, "Ah, that's a splendid, amazing time." Personally for me. Like it's like killing two birds with one stone. It's like one, I don't really have to go out and interact with a bunch of people, potentially make mistakes and become socially awkward as usual. And two, like I'm doing my part in like not spreading a potentially like lethal, like deadly virus and like not getting it myself because like I can't afford to get sick right now. Like if I can't get sick right now, there's no one to take care of me. Um. So yeah. Like I see myself back in like 2040. In 2040, I'll be giving motivational speeches at schools, and I'll be like, yeah. So back in my day, what's the term? What's the phrase they used to use? A phrase is a phrase I hear often. Latin and Maria. It's like Latin and Maria. Um, they used to in the pandemic, my generation, we had a pandemic. It's like we still had to go to school, we still had to work. The government said we should stay at home, but even at home we had to work and we had to go to school and we had to do this, we had to do that, and we had to go out and get vaccines and we had to go out and make sure this happened and whatever. So like you guys these days, you're not dealing with this. Like you're not going with this. Oh my gosh, let's just reboot my brain right now. My brain isn't working. Words are not coming out. But basically I can see myself in the future like playfully like complaining to like younger people. It's like, Psh, you don't know what. Like back in my days, I was going through an entire pandemic and I still had to finish university. Like I mean, housing was up like 100% in price, but like we still have to find somewhere to live and stuff like that. Like I can see myself playfully doing that. Like kind of romanticizing and like calmly, like jokingly talk about this is what happened in the past. This is what happened in my past, not just in history, but like in my past I experienced this, which is kind of strange. It's kind of strange thinking that. what I'm doing right now, like I'm going to school like any typical person. Like I'm going to school like any typical person, and there's actually a pandemic happening outside. Like I'm comfortable locked up in my little house right here. I have everything I need. I have food, I have running water, I have heat, I have electricity, I have everything. So I don't really need to go outside. But if I go outside, yeah, there is a pandemic happening. It's quite interesting to think about it. Yeah. But in any case, I think I'd be more likely, like that little back in my day talk. I think I enjoy doing that more with people who are my age group who have likely gone through something similar, or at the very least, someone in my age group. Like, I like telling my friends, hey guys, back in my days, we had to climb over a mountain and go down a bit for me to get to school. And I used to have to do this and I used to do that. And I love seeing them think that it's actually like me lying, but it's actually like me just slightly exaggerating. Like things like that. Gosh, I can't remember the English phrase for it, but like, I don't know. I just enjoy things like that. It's like back in my days, I do it all the time. My friends hate me for it, but it's fine. It's like back in my day, we had to actually go to school in person. I had to like bring this 10 pound backpack on my back, like walk a few kilos to get to class. It's quite funny how calm the world looks. That's why perspective is quite interesting. Like, as I'm talking now, I'm sitting down and looking out my window and looking at how calm the world seems to be. Like, looking out, seeing the street lights are still on, making the place look all pretty. It's still dark. It's currently 6:56, so 4 minutes to 7 a.m. where I am. But because it's like getting down to the middle of winter, it's still pretty dark outside. The sun's not up yet. The daylight's just breaking, but it's still pretty dark outside. But like I'm looking out, there's like a few vehicles moving about. The world's pretty much still apart from them. But to think that in like 2 hours time, like 2 hours from now, if you go down to the capital, that's a safety. Like if you go down to the downtown in my city right now, in 2 hours time, that's a safety issue. Like that could be a potentially dangerous situation. Mm. Then again, that's another reason for me to just stay inside. Like, in all honesty, though, like, if it wasn't for the fact that I had to go and collect the thing I ordered, if I didn't have to go and collect it, I would honestly stay inside for the next month. Like, I've stocked up on enough food that I can comfortably live inside for the next month at least. But like, I do need to go and get my stuff, and there's a deadline. But in any case, I've really diverged from the topic. Last week I said that I was gonna come and do either karaoke or was gonna recommend some of my favorite like K dramas or K pop songs. And I kind of geared more towards K dramas because my favorite K pop songs and favorite K pop artists change so often. It's ridiculous. Like, let's see. Originally, my original favorite K-pop group overall is FT Island, which is a K-rock band. They're also my favorite male K-pop artist, but Whereas my favorite male K-pop artists kind of stay fairly consistent, my favorite female artists tend to change. Like I'll find this group and I really like the kind of songs they do. I really like their theme, everything about them. And then like for another comeback in no time, like in a few months they'll have a comeback and then it's completely changed. Like their complete feel and everything about them has changed and I don't like them as much. And then I might find another group that I like better, and I'll say, okay, they're my new favorite, they're my new favorite female K-pop group. But and then he'll have a comeback, and then I won't like them as much for some reason. Like, let's see, in the past, what have been my favorite groups, female groups in the past? My favorite female K-pop groups used to be Dreamcatcher. I used to love Dreamcatcher so much. Like they had a kind of anime opening feel. Like their songs had a like yeah, it kind of reminded me of like when I used to watch anime and they used to have like these really cool anime openings. That's what Dreamcatcher reminded me of. And then I don't remember what comeback they had, but I just kind of like it kind of changed. Maybe they came back afterwards to that feel, but it really did change and I didn't follow them as closely anymore. I also used to really like Twice, which of course, I used to really like Twice, and who else? Girls' Generation, of course. I really used to like Girls' Generation. Mm, I can't specifically remember groups now. Like I knew I liked a few songs from Blackpink, but interestingly, for some reason, when it comes to Blackpink songs, it's like hearing it once, it's like, oh, this is a good song. But for me to really, really like a Blackpink song, it's like I have to watch the choreography. I have to watch someone doing the choreography, or I have to hear it over and over and over again. Like in the terms of How You Like That, there's a song by Blackpink called How You Like That, and that's actually the only song that I learned the full choreography for. But interestingly, it's like when I first heard How You Like That, I was like, okay, that's a song, okay, whatever. And I kind of just went on with my life, knowing that that song existed. But then I was watching a Thai artist, well, a Thai actor that I really like, and he did a cover of the chorus of How You Like That, and he looked so cool doing it, or should I say cute? I don't know, but like he was just like amazing. I don't know if you know him, but like oh my gosh, you probably won't recognize him just by you probably won't recognize him just by his nickname because like I can remember at least three people who have the exact same nickname, but his nickname is Ert, and he's one of my favorite Thai actors. And he did a cover of How You Like That, and I saw that on YouTube. Like I just came across it on YouTube for some reason, and I really liked it. And then I went and watched the music video from How You Like That, and I watched the dance practice. And then by listening to it over and over again, I started to like it more, so I learned the entire choreography. But yeah, there's some songs like that. Like I mentioned in the last session, how Neverland by Holland, when I first heard Neverland, it was kind of like, okay, that's a song. And then I happened to hear it over again and over and over and over till it reached a point where I would go and listen to it over and over and over. It's like at first, the first time I listen is kind of like it's just there, and then I come to like it the more I hear it. Whereas with boy groups, interestingly, with boy groups, it's like usually there are a lot of songs and There are a few that I kind of listen to over and over and over, and I come to like them a bit. But typically, I have pretty distinct taste. Like, I either like a song right off the bat, or that's it for the song. Like I mentioned recently that yeah, I've been mentioning in the past few sessions that I like Enhypen. Like I seem to like the songs that Enhypen has been coming out with recently. Like I don't know where they came from. The new generation of K-pop artists, I really haven't been following them as closely as I want because like K-pop has hurt me a bit recently, so I haven't been following it closely. Plus, I've been busy with life. So these new generation artists, I don't really know them that well unless they go on variety shows, on the variety shows that I watch and kind of promote there. I don't really know much about them, but I came across Enhypen songs and like Drunk Days and Tame Dash, Fever especially. I think Fever was the one that really got me interested. Like Fever is the one that really got me interested in them. Then Tame Dash, and then I heard about Drunk Days afterwards. And they have a new one recently. My brain isn't working right now. Is it ever working? My brain isn't working right now, so I can't remember the title. Don't kill me for that. But yeah, I think in order favorites, Fever and Tame Dash are definitely my top two. And then Drunk Days is after that. Yeah, so that's and then from those songs I came to say, okay, I seem to like Enhypen's theme, their little concept that they have going. Other than that, I think I tend to have a more SM taste. That sounds weird, but like, yeah, that sounds really weird. But SM Entertainment, I tend to like their songs a lot. I don't know what that says about me, but um, a lot of my favorite groups are from SM. So there's like Shiny and Super Junior and EXO and NCT. Like a lot of my favorite groups are from SM, and I follow them the closest. Like if Super Junior comes out with a new song, I'm listening to it. That's for sure. If EXO comes out with a new song, if I hear about it, because I haven't been really following K-pop that closely these days, but if I hear about it, I'm gonna go check it out. Same with Shiny. If they have a new song, I'm gonna go check it out. But because these are the songs I typically listen to, it comes up in my it really comes up in my algorithm. So like I don't have to actively search out for it. It just comes up in my feed. Hey, this group has released this song. This group has released this song, which is really great. You have to really appreciate algorithms at times like this. Mm, what else is there? NCT. Yeah, so like NCT, their dance, like their choreographies, are usually what I'm interested in learning. Like these days, like in 2020, like at the end of 2021, the choreographies I was interested in learning were from Enhypen, but in 2020, in the end of 2020, the choreographies I was interested in learning were from NCT. Yeah, so they're typically the boy groups I enjoy. There's also who is it? What do you mean, who is it? There's also my absolute favorite, which is FT Island, which I mentioned before, but they don't do choreographies. My Hungy can't dance. Like, Hungy tries his best, but he's not a dancer, that's for sure. Um, don't get me wrong, he's still better than me, but just it's not his expertise. He's a band. Like, he's in a band. Dancing isn't what he typically does. So yeah, they don't have choreography, so like I just have to learn the lyrics for their songs and listen to them sing the lyrics. But like the dancing aspect isn't there. And um they don't release songs that frequently. And I say that kind of iffy because what I mean is that they don't release full albums. Like occasionally throughout the year, they'll release singles, and then they might release like Japanese singles and Japanese albums, and then like other times they might release Korean singles and Korean albums. But like I don't know, I don't know if there's a specific time of year when they do that. Maybe that's just me being really inattentive. I realize I've been really inattentive to people that I say, like to the artists I say I've liked since after 2018 or 2019. No, 2019. Since 2019, I really haven't been paying nearly enough attention to the K-pop industry. It's like they hurt me. Like I really liked one of the two. I really liked some of the artists, and then bad situation after bad thing happened, and I kind of like emotionally closed myself off from them for a while. So like I used to like check their Instagram almost every day and like all their posts, and like that hasn't happened for like 4 years, for 3 years, which is too bad, but not really. It gives me more time to do other things. I found other hobbies too. Like I used to read novels and watch dramas and stuff like that. But I've also taken a liking to reading like mangas and webtoons and stuff like that too, which is very fun. Yeah, so that's about K-pop. Do I have any songs that I recommend? Let me check. Let me see. Right now, I'm going through my Spotify like songs. I don't like songs very often. Like I might like a song personally, but it's not often that I add it to my liked songs. So I'm just gonna go through like a few of the top songs, the most recently added like songs that I have. So the first one is Hanyang. Gosh, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hanyang, Hanyang. Oh, can't talk right now. Hanyang, Han Ryang by Min Kyung-woon, Kim Chul, and BB. Din Din also featured in there, I believe. He featured or produced it or something of the sort. Then after that, there's Getting Closer by 17. And for this one as well, I think I saw like a group doing I saw like a YouTuber was going around and doing random play dances. And then I saw they played this song, and there was only like two or three people who knew the choreography, but they were doing it really well, and I really liked the choreography. And from then I learned the chorus. I learned the choreography for the chorus, and the more I do it, the more I listened to the song, the more I liked it. So I liked it on Spotify as well. So that's Getting Closer by 17. Then there's What You Wanted by 6. And I don't know, I just like the feel of the song. Yeah, I don't know. There was no particular point. I just really like the overall feel for this song. After this is like already going back years. This was years ago. Like I used to like this song years ago, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then recently, the person who sung it, I saw them again and I remembered the song. But yeah. So in any case, it's called Boom Boom by Haun. Haun? Yeah, Haun. And it's from Gooding Huxing. Yeah, Gooding Rapper. It was like from High School Rapper, season 2, I believe. Yeah, and I believe he was the one who won. Actually, Haun. It's like Boom Boom. I really like that song. The next song I have in my liked playlist is actually not Korean. It is, let me get the country right. It is Filipino. It's Filipino, yes. It's from in 2021, 2020, around there. Like, I get 2020 and 2021 mixed up already. Like, no jokes. But in any case, there was a particular time I started really watching Filipino dramas, a particular subset. And this next song called Hindi Ako Bitaw, something of the sort, I don't remember. But it was an OST for a series called My Day the series. It was kind of like a little fairy tale, like from the what do you call it? When I saw the teaser or the trailer that they made, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna watch like one or two episodes of this and give up because it's so unrealistic. But for some reason, I seem to really like it and I finished it to the very end. And there were some songs that I really liked from the series, especially this one, Hindi Ako Bitaw. Yeah, so My Data series, that's the OST. The next song is Nabijam, which is Sweet Dreams by Kimi Tol and Min Kyung Woon. I tell you, like, they're my favorite pair. And I love how similar their voices. Like, Min Kyung Hoon has like a distinct voice, but I don't know if it's because like Heechul spends so much time around him or like what that situation is. But like at times you really can't tell their voice separate. Then I have like a bunch of Thai songs, but like the names are in Thai, so like just scrolling through, I can't tell you exactly what they are. I have a bunch from Scrubs. I have Lip Lip. I have a second, yeah, but like I have a bunch from Scrubs, and this is like me just going through random shows I watch and adding like songs that came out or OSTs. Yeah, and then I have Neverland from Holland, which I mentioned a few times. But more than Neverland, emotionally, I prefer Loved You Better, which is right after Neverland on my list. And the reason I really love this song is because when the song came out, like I listened to it and I was like, "Oh, this is nice." And then I searched for the lyrics, and it was basically about him thinking about like his younger self and saying like he really wished he used to love himself better. He used to treat himself better. Like if he had the chance, he would treat himself well back then as well. Mm. Let's see. After that, oh my gosh, I think that the majority of songs I have on my playlist are Korean, but for some reason I have these random like other countries in there. Like I have this song called Eccentric by, oh my gosh, I'm gonna mess up the name. It's Kya Kizaka. Wait, wait. Kya Kizaka. Kazika. Oh my gosh. Kaziyaka. Kaziyaka 46. Eccentric. This is me messing up names. I can't. And like the reason I added this song was because like I watched the music video and the music video was like so cool in a sense where everyone was kind of just lethargic and the meaning of the song was pretty good too. And like overall, I think I like songs that have a more chorus feel to them. So compared to like one person singing very well, like this big group of people singing the same song like in different tones, I tend to like that a lot. Okay, and the next few are also OSTs. So the next few are OSTs from the same show. There's a Light by Kunjo, You by The Man BLK, Looking at You by Rooney, See You by Hojong. Yeah, okay. Then after that, there's a song by Joa Band called Usojo. I used to really love this song, like especially in my first year of university. This is kind of my picker up. Like I used to listen to K indie bands a lot in my first year of university. I've forgotten a lot of the songs, but like Americano, like that's a typical, like that's typically one you hear like every spring. But like there's a song that I found called Usojo by Joa Band, and I've never heard it before like searching for that playlist, and it's really good. It's basically just saying, just smile like this, just keep smiling, which is like a um, really good at just picking up your mood a bit. Mm, let's see. After that, there's Cassette by Damien. That's actually the only song I've heard by him, but like I don't know where I found it before. I don't know how I came to find that song, how I came to like it, or what happened. It's like I just came one day and it was in my like songs, and I was like, "What is this?" And I played it and I loved it. So yeah, but I really like it. Unfortunately, it's the only song by him I've really listened to. I think recently I did a search on him, and he doesn't have many songs. So yeah. Then there's My Secret, which I don't quite remember who sung this, but it was the OST for an anime I used to watch when I was really small. Yeah. Anyway, that was Japanese. And then this is gonna be the last one I'm talking about. No, it can't be the last one. It's one of the last ones I'm talking about, which is Please Don't by K Will. I swear, this song is so nice. It's like Hiroshima Chepa, Tonajima Chepa, Torawa, Torawa. It's like I love it so much. It's like I listened to it before, like I listened to the song itself and I really liked it, and then I watched the music video and I loved it even more. I was like, oh no way. Yeah. In any case, the last one, the very, very last one I'm talking about from my playlist that I like is Pray by Klang. I've never really seen this singer with another song, but yeah. But the song Pray was from, what was it called? I don't remember the exact show's name. Like, help me out here. It was an angel. There was an angel, and he was helping. It was like Angel's Last Mission. I'm gonna fact check that, but I'm pretty sure it was called Angel's Last Mission. And the song Pray by Klang, it was just one of those songs that you just keep listening to on repeat. It reminded me of like another song I used to listen on repeat. There was at one point there was a K drama called, well, it still exists, but there's a K drama called Beautiful World about a boy a high school boy who um allegedly jumped off his school building, like, and then they were investigating what would have led up to that, and then they uncovered like potential bullying and a lot of issues, and like I loved that series so much. And there was a song like I would listen to it on repeat for about an hour after the show. It was just amazing. But in any case, Angel's Last Mission, yeah, Angel's Last Mission, Love. That's where the song Pray by Clan comes from. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna double check Beautiful World. Beautiful World, OST, Over the Moon. My gosh, I love this song so much. But interestingly, it's by Han and Hanbin. But no matter how much I search, like afterwards I searched so much for Haun or Hanbin and to find out like if they're from a group separate or if they're indie singers or to find out any information about them. But I can't find anything about them. But their song was so, it was like just so simple. Like the background music was simple. It was just like ding, ding. And the lyrics weren't complicated or anything. It was like there's a few lyrics and they repeated it like two, three times. And it was just so beautifully done. And like the voices, like everything, it was amazing. Like I recommend, like if off this nice long list I told you about, you don't check any, you only check one of the songs, I really recommend Over the Moon by Helen and Hanbin. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can do this right now. If I can actually type out, if I can type out like that name. Or maybe I'll just write it in the chat. Yeah, I can write it in the chat. I'm just gonna make the chat visible and then I'm gonna type it in the chat. So it's Over the Moon by Han and Han Bin. Yes. Like I really, really, really recommend that you check that song out. It's amazing. I just love it so much. In fact, now that I remember it, after this live stream, I actually see myself listening to it on repeat again. Yeah. So that's those are the songs I recommend by Beautiful World. And also, this song is the OST for Beautiful World. My gosh, I am like the world's slowest typer. I bring shame to my generation. But yeah, it's the OST for Beautiful World. If you can watch the series itself, it's pretty good. There's some fan made videos out there that kind of give you, like, you can watch the official trailers or you can watch some fan made videos just showing just showing you bits and pieces about what the show is about. And it's really emotional. Not really, how would I say it? It's really emotion provoking, kind of. Like it gets you thinking, it gets you like angry, it makes you sad, it makes you really wonder about a lot of things. Mm. Yeah, so if I were to recommend any of the shows, if I were to recommend any K dramas, first and foremost, I would recommend Beautiful World. Do I have any other K dramas that I absolutely enjoyed? Hmm. Yeah, so well, right now I am a psychology student, but interestingly, the reason I became a psychology student was because I watched the K drama Kill Me Heal Me, as insincere as that sounds. But like for years and years and years, I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm gonna teach students. I'm gonna become either a high school teacher or a university professor, but I'm gonna be a teacher. And then like all of a sudden, I watched Kill Me Heal Me, and I absolutely fell for like it was so interesting learning about like DID, and then I did my separate research afterwards and I was like, okay, this is really interesting. So psychology got me interested from there, and then from then here I am studying psychology on my way to become like a psychologist. So yeah, if I could recommend one show, like most K-drama fans have watched Kill Me Heal Me. I mean, at this point, it might become one of the classics. because like every day I feel myself getting older, but that's fine. But like I think it's become one of the classics. Kill Me, Heal Me. Most people who've watched K dramas have at least heard about it. I strongly recommend watching it. It's about the main character has DID, which is dissociative identity personality. Wait, no, oh my gosh, dissociative identity disorder, previously known as multiple personalities disorder. But that basically means that within himself, he has like several alter egos, and whenever those alter egos surface, his personality changes, like how he thinks about himself changes, how he sees himself changes, and his memory basically cuts off. So like he's the main I'll give an example. Like the main character is called Chadoyon. It's like a middle-aged guy, responsible, trying to do his best in life. One of his personalities is called Hanyona. My gosh, she's amazing. She's my favorite. But she's basically a teenage. She's a teenage girl, and she coined the famous phrase. I don't know if she coined it, but basically, she's famous for saying the phrase, "If you're handsome, you're my oppa." It's like, yeah, if she finds a guy handsome, then like she's into that guy. Like he's my pick, like that kind of person. But like whenever Anyona comes out, basically any like any traces of Chadohyun disappears. Like he can't when Chadohyun comes back, he can't remember what Yona did. He has no idea what she did, what she changed, what she said, anything like that. He can't remember. That's basically what dissociative identity disorder is. It's like multiple people living in your body and they see themselves differently. Anyway, so that's Kill Me, Heal Me. I also recommended Beautiful World. What else can I recommend? Modern Farmer. I recommended it before, but I seriously do recommend. If you haven't seen it, watch Modern Farmer. Oh my gosh, I swear my accent's messing this up. I'm gonna type that in. So I actually want to make a list. I'm gonna see if I can make a list. Can I make a list to just like list out the different things that yeah. So I'm gonna make a list in the meanwhile. So there's Beautiful World. Gosh, it's Beautiful World. There's Kill Me, Heal Me. There's Modern Farmer. It's like what else can I recommend? Oh wait, I haven't told you about Modern Farmer yet. So Modern Farmer stars my absolute favorite celebrity of all times, which is Yoongi or Lee Hong-ki, and it's basically about this rock band who's not doing very well. They used to be popular in the past, but right now they're not popular whatsoever, and basically they're out of money. But the main character, which is played by Hong-ki, his grandma passed away, I believe, and he inherited not money, but he inherited her farming land. So he was like, what should I do with this? Only to find out, hey, like farming makes a lot of money these days. If you can farm cabbages based on the size of land that you own, that you now own, thanks to that inheritance, you can make like tons of money. So he like grabs like his members and drags them out to the countryside and says, "Hey, for the next few months, we're going to be farming cabbages." So we can make a lot of money, we can go back and make an album. I mean, that was the plan at least. But like it's absolutely like hilarious. Like I sometimes just look back on the memes from that show just to get a good laugh. What else? Like similar to Modern Farmer, there's also Ula Chacha Waikiki, also known as Welcome to Waikiki, or like I don't know what else it's called, but like it's similar to Modern Farmer. And like from when we think about Welcome to Waikiki or Ula Chacha Waikiki, there's a phrase that one of the character always says like Kenjana Kenjana. It's like when a situation is clearly not okay, him dismissing it as like, oh, it's fine, which is basically what Kenjana Kenjana means. Like Kenjana Kenjana, it's all good, it's fine, don't worry about it. Um, Similar to that actually though. Hongi during Modern Farmer, which is like a few years before, it's not as iconic. Like people are just starting to rediscover it right now. But like Hongi used to say kenchana yo, which is like a bit more formal, but it's the same thing. It's the same. It's fine in a situation that is clearly not fine. I really love stuff like that. It's like, what do you mean it's fine? It's not fine. Obviously, it's not fine. I don't know what you're saying is fine. Anyways, that's Welcome to Waikiki. And the story about Waikiki, it's about this group of friends who run like a guest house together because again, they heard it was supposed to make a lot of money, but it's not working out and they're behind on their bills and all sort of things, and like their lights getting cut off, their water's getting cut off, their place is becoming shambles. But interestingly, at the same time, what am I saying? Gosh, my brain just lapsed. Yeah, but even in the midst of all of that, one day they wake up, they're completely drunk, I believe. Either drunk or like they're just tired and waking up. And they find a baby, like this random baby in one of their rooms, like basically a newborn. And they're wondering if one of the guests left them, but like they don't have any guests. So they basically take care of the kid for one day, hoping that the parents will come back for it. Only when the parent eventually comes back, um, the parent is a single mom. She has no money, basically has nowhere to go, and for various reasons, they decide that she can stay there. She can stay there, take care of the kid, maybe help out around the place too. But it's like an absolute chaotic mess. Yeah, they're an absolute chaotic mess. Like Welcome to Waikiki is the closest I can think of. When you think of like sitcoms, like North American sitcoms, for example, the closest to that you can get is in a Korean drama is Welcome to Waikiki. It's like every half episode, which is like basically 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, basically, the situation changes and like how they react to that changes, and it's basically like a new episode. And there are actually two seasons for that. Yeah, there are two seasons in Ula Chata Waikiki, and both of them are hilarious. I remember watching both of them. The first time I watched Ula Chata Waikiki, I was actually like doing dishes. In the middle of the night, I was doing dishes, and knowing me, I usually take my time and get things done properly. So like I usually like have my phone there, like watching a show during the same time and watch like an episode or so while I do the dishes. And I actually took a lot longer that time because like every minute I'd stop and I'm watching and I'm laughing and I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing to begin with. But I was not expecting it to be as hilarious as it was. Like from the very beginning, it is like pure comedic genius. I mean, I have so many Korean dramas. I don't know why I can't think of which ones to recommend right now. Like, there's Beautiful World, there's Kill Me Heal Me, Modern Farmer, Welcome to Waikiki, or Ulachacha Waikiki, whichever term you prefer. What else is there? Ah, my gosh. There's one I watched. Was it last year or the year before? I believe it was last year I watched it. Oh my gosh. Mr. Queen. Oh, Mr. Queen. I loved it so much. Mr. Queen is basically about this really stuck up, would I say, like a bit narcissistic. He's a chef for the Blue House, which is the major political building in South Korea, if that makes any sense, where the president resides and everything. So he's this big chef, but like he doesn't have the best personality, so he has a few enemies. And in an attempt to escape being framed by one of the people who don't like him, he jumps out of his hotel room. I don't even know how many stories high up he was, or how he expected to live through that. But basically, when he fell out, he when he fell out, maybe I'm even messing up the beginning, but basically, long story short, he fell from somewhere, and when he woke up, he was in the body of the queen, like hundreds and hundreds of years before, and he basically him knowing that he's a guy from the future, having to live in the past as like this queen who's basically like she basically has no power because her husband is like a puppet king. Like people control him too, and like they don't have the best relationship either. Like, and everyone's trying to kill everyone. So he's like, "Listen, I did not like travel this far back in the past to live, only to be killed by all of you guys." In I'm doing like a really awful job at explaining it, but like it is pure like comedic genius. Like usually when you think about time traveling, when you think about like time traveling dramas, like when someone goes back in time, they're like they're shocked at the beginning, but then they kind of adapt, right? This guy, like he adapts only so much. He ends up like changing history. He ends up like I'm gonna give it like a minor spoiler, but like he ends up like inventing ramen because he wanted to eat it and they were like only cooking tasteless food for him and he's like no 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 I won't stand for this atrocity, and he actually goes and like invents like a bunch of foods and stuff like that, and like changes like the language, changes what the meaning of language is based on like his more modern perspective and like how it's used in more modern days. it's, he's a mess. And again, this is like this really narcissistic guy all of a sudden becoming a girl. So that that in itself would have been hilarious. But his interaction with everyone, like he just like he's just living his life and trying to like be comfortable, but everyone around him is like in constant panic because like what is he doing today? Or what is she gonna do today? What is she gonna do today? Why did she change all of a sudden? What happened to this really quiet like girl that would sit down and like do embroidery or something? But yeah, he's hilarious. Like I suggest like even just looking up a few like of the short videos related to Mr. Queen. It's like yeah. What other shows are there? Let's see, what shows have I watched recently? Um, I kind of want to recommend Father is Strange. I don't know, maybe it's because I watched it recently, but Father is Strange is really good. And I'm gonna give a brief explanation because I've been like I've basically been recommending this for the past 2 weeks. But Father Strange is about this more elderly couple, and they have four kids, one older son, and then three younger daughters. And all those kids live all those kids live with the family, even though they're like in their late 20s, early 30s. They all live with the family, and the family is just trying to get them all married and out of the house, basically get them in a quote unquote stable position. And but they're basically an overall happy family until randomly one day, because of potential misunderstandings, this celebrity shows up at the door and says to the father, the elderly father, "Don't you recognize me? I am your son." And then chaos ensues. But yeah, I am doing a pretty awful job because I already ranted about this for like so long during the last session, so I don't want to take up too much time about it again. But it really is a good show. It's like one of those few long shows that I'm willing to invest my time in watching. Yeah, and I'm gonna type out the actual name for that again. So that's Father is Strange, which I find very ironic because the father is the least strange of that group of people. Like, if anything, everyone else is strange. I don't know why they're saying the father is strange. What other shows can I recommend? I know everyone's talking about Squid Game, but in all honesty, I've only watched like the first 3 episodes of Squid Game, so I can't really comment on that. I have had way too many spoilers in Squid Game. Like before I even started watching it, like I already knew how it ended because again, algorithms, it's great, but it's also pretty annoying. And also I watch a lot of variety shows, so that comes up as well. What else can I recommend? Oh, I recommend Stranger from Hell. But take caution. I recommend it, but don't do like me and watch the entire thing in the middle of the night with the lights off. Um, please watch this unless you're like completely fine with watching like horror, like thriller based shows. But even I'm fine with that, but even I felt kind of jumpy watching it at night, so like just a fair warning. It's about this guy who he moved to Seoul, I believe, to get a new job. Like to get a new job, he moved to Seoul and he didn't have enough money to really rent a place in Seoul because the place is so expensive. So he rented a room in a Goshiwon, which is like one of those one room places where the kitchen and bathroom facilities are all shared. So he rents the room there and like he finds out like his neighbors in that building is very strange. Like things don't seem quite right. They all seem very weird and he can't quite figure out why. Um but basically it's surrounding like it's all very mysterious and like serial killers are like, how would I explain this? It's not really about serial killers per se. It's just like this group of people being very, very, very strange and having a serial killer or multiple serial killers within that group and how that like affects the people in that group, how it affects this new person that has just come to join this group. Yeah, it's all just very, very weird. But if there's anything to motivate you to watch it, it stars Lee Dong Wook. Like, gosh, I can't. It's like I start off saying in the typical pronunciation, and I change it to like the romanticized pronunciation. I can't. But yeah, it stars one of my favorite actors, which is Lee Dong Wook, and He was amazing as usual. He stars a dentist um, that seems pretty harmless, but I do believe he is the main antagonist of the story. And that's about as much as I'm going to say. What else? I feel like I don't really have many rom coms on the list. Do I? See, Beautiful World is a bit depressing. Kill Me, Heal Me is like a rom com in a bit. Modern Farmer and Welcome to Waikiki are kind of like just comedies, but they have romantic aspects. Mr. Queen, I don't. I want to say there is romance. There is romance. I'd say Mr. Queen is a rom com. Like he would disagree, or she would disagree, but it's a rom com. Father is Strange. It's a family drama, but there are a lot of like different couples you can follow, and the couples are pretty nice. They're very nice couples. Stranger from Hell. I don't believe there was any romance whatsoever. Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, like for the next week, I'll just think about which other shows I can recommend to you. I mentioned to you that last week I watched Because This Is My First Life, and that was also very good. If you're interested, you can watch that about a couple that, in order to basically have somewhere to live and be able to pay bills on time, they fake their marriage and sign a contract to live together. That's Because This Is My First Life. And there's also another show called Memories of Alhambra or Memories of the Alhambra. It's about a game designer. Yeah, I believe a game designer went missing, and the person who wanted to purchase that game from him, went to find the person who went missing. But instead, he found his sister, and it was all very confusing because it's a game. Like he started playing the game that he wanted to buy from the guy. He bought the prototype. He had the prototype and he started playing the game. But then it was a VR game. It was virtual reality, and you put in like these lenses, these contact lenses. Instead of this big VR mask, you only have the lenses on, so it kind of blurs the line between what's real and what's not. And then it reached a point where even if you take off your lenses, is this still the real world? Is this still the video game? It was very like I watched it twice, I believe, or I watched it one and a half time. I watched it the full while it was airing. I watched it in full, and then afterwards, I watched like the first half of it. But yeah, Memories of the Alhambra. It stars. Oh, it also stars Park Shin-hye, who just got married. Congrats to her. Um, but it was really, really interesting. Especially when I was watching it the first time. They have like this tune they play on the Spanish guitar, and I really think I developed some sort of not a full blown trauma, but like anytime I heard that song, like chills like immediately went down my spine. Like I developed such a great aversion to that song. It's wow. And if you watch the show, you'll realize it's kind of like whenever that song on that Spanish guitar plays, it's never a good thing. But like, I'm gonna actually add that to the list, Memories of the Alhambra, because it is so good. I really do recommend it. But this is the last one I'm recommending for today because I really didn't plan much for today's live stream. So, yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, I didn't really plan much for this live stream, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But At the same time, I'm gonna, how do I explain this? I tell you, my brain's not working as usual. Yeah, so this is the list of like highly recommended K dramas that if you're interested, you can give it a try. So there's Beautiful World, Kill Me, Heal Me, Modern Farmer, Welcome to Waikiki, Mr. Queen, Father Strange, Stranger from Hell, and Memories of the Alhambra. I kind of explained a bit about all of the first, but Memories of the Alhambra is it's romance. It's romance, but not really comedy. It's more of mystery. Yeah, a bit mystery because the female lead's brother is missing, and there's murder involved. But yeah, there's murder involved. The lines between reality and lines between reality and virtual reality is really blurred. Yeah, that's about it. In any case, it's 5 minutes to 8, and I should really get ready for the school day. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I think I'll hang around for like a minute or two, maybe. If I can think of anything to say last minute, then maybe I'll just end it at exactly 8 a.m. If not, I might end like a minute or two early. But yeah, I really didn't plan what I was gonna do with today's session, so it went surprisingly well, considering up until like 7 minutes before the live stream, I was still planning to head into town today. But thank goodness for the internet. I could check and found out that they strictly disadvised us from heading downtown because of the current situation. Again, for reference, if anyone didn't really hear from before, I'm currently in a particular city that's there's a bit of disagreement and they're sorting things out, but other people are kind of taking advantage of the situation and making the original group look a bit bad by doing unruly, illegal, downright disrespectful things. So overall, so that they can better handle the situation, they just disadvise us if we're in a situation where we don't really have to go downtown or right into the center of the situation, they say it would be best to just kind of just stay away from it for today, which is fine by me. I mean, I still have to go out tomorrow. Hopefully, it's a bit more under control for tomorrow, but yeah, yeah. So I couldn't do my karaoke today as I kind of hoped because the copyright issue is still a bit confusing for me. I'll slowly do research on that. Mm, but yeah, that's about it. I have successfully wasted another week because I binged another long drama. And now I have a quiz that's due today. I have an assignment that was due over the weekend. Thankfully, I finished it. I have an exam that's actually coming out today. Now that I think about it, I have an exam that's going to be posted any minute now. But that's fine. I have a while to finish it. What else? But yeah, don't be like me. Don't procrastinate as much as me. And don't find random long shows to watch instead of actually doing like the studying you're supposed to, because it will catch up on you eventually. I mean, it hasn't caught up on me yet, because I usually procrastinate until like the moment before I have to really stop, and then I get things done like in time. But like it's gonna catch up on me one of these days. Wait, no, let's knock on wood. No, let's hope it doesn't happen. But just don't be like me. Please like schedule your workouts and like follow a schedule routine when it comes to work. I used to be so good with that. I blame just sitting inside. Like, you can't expect me to sit down around a computer and like focus on studying when the TV is like literally right in front of me and the couch is right next to me. This is why this is why I used to really like going to the library. Like, even when my room was like really right next to the campus, I used to purposely leave my room and go to the school library so that I wasn't able to like lie down and just relax and do whatever. I would actually focus because in that situation, I couldn't just lie down and sleep. I would have to focus. But blame as much as I can. This is all my doing. I have to take responsibility for it. So hopefully I'm a bit more productive this coming week. I kind of have to be because I have assignments to hand in. But what I'll do for the next live stream is I'll look for a few more shows to recommend. And at the same time, I think I'll look for some more personality quizzes, or not really personality quizzes, not like official personality quizzes, but you know those BuzzFeed quizzes that's like, what kind of animal are you? What kind of dessert are you? I might look for a few of those just for the fun of it. Yeah. But in any case, I'll see you at the very latest next Monday morning at exactly the same time. Hopefully, I can actually plan and meet you on Friday nights or Saturday nights like I originally planned. Anyways, thanks so much for keeping my company, and I'll see you another time. Bye.